Something's fishy.
Hey guys, I'm Shark Zone, and in today's video, I'll be explaining how to escape and climb out of all ranks. I will mainly be focusing on the Iron through Diamond grind, and it will be based off of my personal experiences. For this video, I made a Smurf account where I played on super autopilot on champs I barely knew and ended up going 1-9 in my placement games. Starting in low to mid bronze MMR, the lowest rank I was able to encounter was an Iron 1 player. This video literally took over 200 hours to make from leveling up my account and playing many games of ranked while taking notes. It would honestly and truly make my day if you could smash that like button and subscribe to see more like this in the future. Just want to note that my journey through low to mid ELO is going to be different from many of yours because my MMR was so inflated. There were games where I was low silver playing with gold players, and there were games where I was low gold playing versus platinum. I will be basing it off the MMRs of my games, and this resulted in me skipping ranks due to it. So starting this video off talking about Iron 4 through Iron 1. There's gonna be no sugarcoating, and I'll tell you everything as it is for you to escape these ranks in hopefully the most efficient way possible. Sure, the only people I was able to encounter were in high iron, but for the most part these tips will help all iron players. The first thing I've noticed is that they aren't particularly good at anything. From farming, map awareness, trading, and even the simple things like going the correct build, they struggle with. To climbing out of this rank, it's going to take a lot of basic learning and effort. CS counts are extremely low both in the laning phase and mid game, so going into the practice tool to try to average 8 to 9 CS per minute is ideal. If I have to be honest, there's literally no reason to use chat in any rank below diamond because all it's used for is to flame and rage. There are pings to tell your team essential information, so in your options, there's an option to disable chat, and I highly recommend that. At this point in time, it's just the best that you copy paste the recommended build from people in higher ranks than you because it'll be 5 times easier to win games doing that instead of trying to be creative. Map awareness sure isn't there at all. In fact, I'm very confident no one will look at their map until silver, so I'd put more prioritization on mechanics instead of macro. Playing enough games is also needed because it roughly takes 100 games to be put in the rank you belong in, and I've noticed some players asking why they're hard stuck when they only have 40 games. A very practical way of escaping iron is playing versus intermediate bots and trying to win the laning phase. Learning your champion's basic power spikes is something that will take some time to understand, and this is the best way to do it. You don't need to master any of the key fundamentals of the game to escape out of iron, but just improve on them over time. Also, a lot of you guys have internet problems, and yeah, just try to locate the problem and fix it. Now that we're talking about bronze 4 to bronze 1, I've managed to climb out of the rank with a 100% win rate. Blaming teammates is the most common trend in this rank, or everything but your actual performance. I actually wish I could disable chat to make my climb more peaceful, but I kept it on for educational purposes. Everything from there's smurfs every game, that champ needs nerfs, I got counterpicked, my jungler won't help. I've heard it all, and those excuses do nothing but waste energy. There are 2 types of players you will see in this rank, which is the one who actively tries harder each game and improves over time, or the one who lets their ego take over and they will forever be hard stuck. These players know what their abilities do but don't know how to actively use them to gain a lead. For example, Ahri players know that their Q is used for wave clear and harass, but they will not know when to wave clear with it or try to go for poke. Landing these abilities is also a coin flip since they don't necessarily use them at optimal timings. If you want to land your skill shots in this rating, wait for the enemy to go for a minion, then throw your skill shot at them. They will literally think you're scripting, and it always puts you in a win-win situation. If they go for the minion, they take harass, and if they don't, they lose a minion. The banning phase in champ select is also random, with people banning whatever they find annoying instead of what's meta. Champion pools are almost always way too wide, with people playing 3 roles and more than 7 champions. To start learning the fundamentals about this game, limit your champion pool to 2 champs and 2 roles. Having a "it's just a game" mentality may also be holding people back because if you're playing this game to be entertained, then you're not actively looking to get better. The give up mentality happens every game on both teams, where if one person dies they say GG in all chat then start trolling. Playing for the early game leads is important for that reason, and since the players in this rating don't know the basics about champion scaling, they just forfeit. That's why playing aggressive to a basic level is key to succeeding, and the phrase "win lane, win game" is mostly true. Now there are many things to improve on in bronze, but the main thing to worry about is winning your laning phase, then transitioning that lead into another lane. The reasons why I was able to climb out of bronze with a 100% win rate is because I was able to capitalize on people's positioning errors, lack of taking objectives, poor mentality, terrible map awareness, and bad trading skills. Now that we're talking about silver 4 to 3, this is the rating where the majority of players are stuck in. That means you're average at this game, and most people after their placement games will end up here. From my experience, the players here know the game to a basic level, but aren't advanced in anything particular. There are two types of players in low silver. They're the ones who play way too aggressive or way too passive. There's no middle ground. Way too aggressive as in they just straight up push in waves with no vision, which gives the enemy jungler an opportunity to gank. Even up until this point, you will see mistakes like low CS counts and still playing this game like it's a team deathmatch. The hands down best and consistent way to escaping silver is to play a champ who scales and have an extremely high CS count. Games don't end quickly because objectives are never thought about, which gives you time to farm during the laning phase and mid game side laning. Soaking all that golden XP will make you ahead in items and levels, which means when you do impact those team fights, it will always be a win. Wave management is something that needs to be learned at this point in low silver, and the options of freezing and shoving become important. Basic rule of thumb is that if you're looking to roam or back, shove in the wave, and if you're looking to zone the enemy from trying to farm because you have a lead in that given situation, freeze the wave. Throughout all of silver, you need to play around who is fed on your team, even if that person is you. If you notice that your whole team fed and that you're the only one ahead, then don't group with your team, instead split push trying to draw 2 or more people away from mid. ARAM's mid game isn't always the best move unless you have Baron minions or you're outnumbering them. Playing on autopilot or first timing champions often is a key reason why people are hard stuck here and not looking to actively get better each week. There are huge positioning errors where even if ADCs are fed, they don't position correctly to try to stop a fed assassin from going after them. You will also notice that if you're playing an assassin mid game, you could just walk around the map and the enemies will react like it's their first time playing this game, which leads to some easy picks. The key reason why I was able to escape silver with over an 85% win rate is because all it takes if you're playing an assassin and get fed early is to get sweeper, then walk around the jungle or side lanes looking for kills. After you get a kill, that equals an easy objective like dragon or tower. Of course, chat is still annoying and 80% of it is filled with useless stuff. So in high silver, mechanics are actually getting pretty good and are being played at most to a high gold level. The macro is the main thing that needs to be worked on, like decision making. The never ending games installing them out needs to stop here, and now you need to take simple initiative to try and take early game drags or rift heralds. People say win lane lose game, which is true because their leads aren't spreaded properly. The difference between a high plat / low diamond player versus a silver player is that when they get that lead, they transition that into early game dragons and tower diving the enemy bot lane. That lead keeps getting pushed until we get dragon soul and baron, then close out the game. Silver players on the other hand, what typically happens is they gain a nice kill lead, then just stay mid. Once team fight happens, of course you will lose them because if your team is behind, you're outnumbered and how many people are fed. Keep in mind, the main thing that also throws games in high silver is the fed person getting caught. After he gets caught, he ends up blaming his team for not playing at his level, even though they could have still carried that game if it wasn't for that mistake. If you somehow struggle on getting that lead in the first place, there are many mistakes and you just have to identify them. Whether that's mispositioning or knowing that the enemy bot lane has no wards, there's always something to get your snowball started. Playing around vision for objectives needs to happen instead of trying to go for random dragon attempts. Buying control wards needs to happen more often and them actually getting placed. Also, roam timers need to start happening where you shove in waves under tower, which will give you a bit of time to roam to another lane or ward. Too many times I've noticed people do these WTF roams, which is where they go into another person's lane and accomplish nothing. That alone is terrible, but they end up losing a ton of XP and gold in the process, with over 300 gold worth of minions dying under tower. Little bonus tip is to research your teammates to see whether you need to dodge or not, because your MMR is more important than your LP. Looking for things like super low win rates, bad team comps, autofills, which are all great reasons to dodge. So now that we're talking about gold, in my personal opinion, is my favorite rank to climb out of. Everyone in this rank is technically above average in this game and are in the upper 25% of the League of Legends community. The main difference between gold and platinum players is that gold players are reactive while platinum players are proactive. Platinum players always, and I mean always, start aggressive trades while gold players tend to play more on the passive side under tower. I saw this a lot in lower gold where they blame their team for losing even though they haven't done much carrying work themselves. When they say they've won laning phase, that means they've gotten 1 kill or 2 and haven't done anything to push that lead. Early game objectives are never contested aggressively, and the team who makes the reactive play tends to come too late. Using this to your advantage, try to buy early game control wards to clear the dragon of wards, then taking it quickly with your bot lane. You always need to do the most damage to carry in this rank no matter what role you play besides support. There are definitely many opportunities to make plays but just aren't, which will keep you hard stuck. The advice to escaping gold is to really step up your game and look for moments to play aggressive in lane and force objectives with your lead. Your laning phase, everyone knows when you have R you can do something with that, which isn't the issue most of the time. Where the key difference lies is the poke and trading back and forth to half HP, then looking for an all-in. Now you really have to start focusing on the fact that you have Ignite and they don't, you have Flash and they don't, their CC ability isn't up right now so I have to make an aggressive play, they use their poke ability to wave clear, now I have to go in, and so on. So finally, to escaping Platinum ELO. Now recently, I've been hardstuck high Platinum for a while now, and reached Diamond 5 in Season 7, so feel free to call me washed up. Don't worry, your boy will return to Diamond with enough time in games, but for this video, I thought it would be right to talk to my high Diamond and Grandmaster tier friends to see exactly what needs to be accomplished to climb out of Platinum. Now everything I say here on out will basically be word for word of what they said, and trust me when I say they are reliable sources. So jungle tracking is something that is very important to start learning and predicting when ganks will occur. This information can be used to get nice vision, play defensive, roam, or set up counter ganks. Knowing your team's objectives to winning your games at the start of the game needs to be happening. Like for example, if your team scales harder late game, knowing that information, it's okay to give the first 2 drags instead of dying for them. Playing around the correct objectives like Dragon, Rift, or Tower at the specific timing of the game is a decision that needs to be correct. Of course, mechanics are going to be better, but it's again what you do with that lead that will make the difference. Your jungler should be playing as your right hand, and playing around them is essential to securing early game scuttle crabs or tower diving. They hold so much importance that you should be playing this game like it isn't a 1v1 early game, but it's a 2v2. So I think that concludes this video. Anyways guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, please smash that like button because it would really help me out a lot. Comment exactly what you want to see next, and subscribe if you want to see more like this in the future. If you haven't, feel free to follow me on twitch.tv where you can watch me play this game live. I'm SharkZone here with another video, and I'm out. Peace!